All right. Cool. So the game is pretty simple. You just said you unboxed it, but you haven't played it yet, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so take the cards out of the box and separate them. So you're gonna take, you like the dice? So we have two different versions of the dice. There's one that's wooden,
Ooh.
and then there's this one that's like the purple cosmic dice.
I like the purple.
Purple.
Fan of the cosmic.
Cosmic
Yeah.
dice kind of a gal, I gotta be honest with you.
They really shine in the light well. You can only imagine how many iterations we went through, but when I saw that one, I'm like, done, it's over. The search is over. I'm glad you like it. Okay, so there are three kind of stacks here in the game. You've got the curiosity cards, which are blue.
Okay.
You got the Graticube cards that are red. And then all the cards that are white, with a few exceptions, because you have like the instructions and then like an intro card, no rules. And then there's this other guy like this. That's a reference card we'll use later. Yeah, so just separate those out. Those four cards on top can just go to the side. But all these colorful cards in the front that are white on the other side, these are called the story cards.
Okay.
And these just put out in front of you. You can kind of put them in a messy pile. You can put them in a stack, whatever suits you and your style.
Story. Okay, I see it now. Okay, I've gotten, oh, okay. Story. Okay, got it.
So do this, take two of the curiosity cards and put them in your hand, okay? Just grab two at random, and then those will be in your
Shuffle
hand.
them.
You can shuffle them if you want. You could leave them the way they are. You could do whatever your alchemy says you should do here.
I'm gonna shuffle. I'm gonna give it a shuffle.
Shuffle.
Good tarot card shuffle here.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
See what pops out. Okay, got it.
So now grab three of these. Now these are all the same. The blue cards are a little different, but the three cards you'll pull from the Graticube are identical. So you don't have to shuffle those.
Oh, okay, they're all the same.
Yes. And we'll talk about what those are for. So you should have two curiosity and three gratitude cards in your hand. Perfect. Yes, those are your cards. Now, because we're playing virtually, it'll be a little different, right? So if I hand you a blue one through this magic screen device, then you'll grab that blue one and pull it. And then once you have this, pull one from the deck that matches it, from the blue one, because it'll become yours.
Okay.
So any cards you receive, same thing with gratitude cards. If you receive a gratitude card in the game, it becomes yours, and you can do whatever you want with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm holding these in a hand like I would if I were playing. Have you ever played Monopoly? That's the card deck Monopoly. Yeah.
Card deck Monopoly, no.
It's fun.
Okay.
But I love Monopoly.
You're a real gamer.
Like this, holding it like this.
Okay, perfect, like this. Got it. Okay, so these are poker Monopoly cards right here. So here's how it works. We're going to roll, each of us have two dice, right? So one of these dice is space and the other is time. So this one, the big one, is space, and this guy is time. So space represents different emotional spaces that we find ourselves, and time, of course, is time. And while time doesn't exist, we set a time for this call and we ended up here somehow. So time is an illusion, and yeah, it's kind of useful. And as we think about these dice, they'll come into play into our story. So you have a time, space, and a continuum of cards that we'll be playing with.
This cube makes sense now.
It's hard to explain all this in like a little tiny accordion of instruction booklet.
It really is.
So another thing you should know, Alyssa, is that this cube and the other one can spin. So when you're rolling them, you can roll or spin. Yeah. And we'll have a competition later after the game to see who can spin it the longest. We'll just have this ongoing thing.
I got you. I've been practicing.
Seconds, how good your spin is, find the right surface, the infinite spin. So part one of the game, to get started, we've got to figure out who goes first. In order to do that, we each need to roll until we get to love or gratitude. And you can start rolling, and then I'll go, and then Nick will go, and then we'll figure out whoever rolls love or gratitude gets to start the game.
Okay. Is there a great way to roll without breaking your glass top desk?
You know, if you break it, you're just too strong. Oh my gosh.
Gratitude.
She's already winning.
All right. She's off to a good start.
Done. Look at that. All right, boom. Then that means you're first. So what you'll do
Okay.
now is you'll roll both dice because your turn begins.
Okay.
So
At the
give them
same
a-
time?
You can, or separately, or spin them, or whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna do separate.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Guilt and pass.
Oh.
Start
It
Look
out
at
starts
big.
off
that.
strong. It starts off strong.
Going big.
It does. We're going right into it.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
I'll put this at your option. I would say take all the story cards if they're all spread out and just pick one. You use your energy.
Hmm.
Maybe close your eyes. Maybe leave them open. You choose how that card is going to find its way into your hand.
Oh, okay. Should they be spread out, or should I just?
It's completely up to you. I like to spread them out. I put them in a big circle and then I form it into the visual heart. Make it look like a heart.
Okay, this one jumps to me. Okay. Wow. And do I pass it? Do I say?
It'll be your card. So take a look at it and
Okay.
then let us know what it says. If you're open to answering it, then you can read it to us.
I will. If you were told you had 1 year to live, what would you do with this final year?
Okay, so now as you think about that card,
Yes.
I tend to honor whatever first comes to mind. Right?
Yes.
There's a memory or a thought that'll jump right in. And then after you've thought about that for a moment, consider how the dice might be related. Now, you may look at the dice and say, gosh, they're not related at all. So don't worry about that, because subliminally, they have already been planted in your story. You don't know yet, but as you start to speak to your story at the very end, if you don't know, come back and I think they'll come into your story. So think about that, what you want to share. And then when you're ready, we're ready.
Guilt and past on my dice. So if I was told I had 1 year to live, what would I do with this year? It's interesting and probably not a whole lot different than what I'm doing now.
That's
I
good.
I would likely spend more time in service in some way. And I think, what comes up for me right away with the guilt in the past is I remember I had some recovering years where I was really trying to recover myself completely. And I didn't really give in service. I was just completely on the beach. I would eat papaya and berries and just go and pass out and meditate and try to recalibrate myself. But there was very little I did. I feel like that was truly in service. I mean, I think a lot of it was in service to my ego, like those events that I would do that were things that were supposed to be in service, they were not actually in service of the people. They were in service of my ego. So I think for me, the biggest shift would be if I had 1 year to live, I'd probably do a lot more, and I'd probably do it in weird systems, like maybe jails or stuff where you think you can't make a difference at all. And I'd probably experiment with trying. Yes.
I love that. I love that perception that you had with that, because most people, when they get asked something like that, would be thinking of themselves. I love how you're thinking of servicing others with that. And I just want to give you a gratitude card for that, because it really resonated with me, and I needed to hear that. Sometimes we can be so self-absorbed and just we see everything and experiencing everything from our own consciousness. So getting out of ourself and helping others and putting them first, I have found that to be something really truly wholesome and one of the best forms of spiritual practice, like taking care of yourself and getting to a level where you can then give that to someone else. And so I really think you have the right perspective on that, and I just wanted to kind of echo that.
Thank you, Nick.
And I appreciate what you had to say as well. I really love that. And it's something I feel like is a bit of a vexing problem for me when I think about those who are talking about living their best life. It's like, cool. Okay. Loving yourself. That's important. You should love yourself. Everything the universe is love. And then the question I have for you here is a curiosity card. So this question card says, would you be willing to share more and or deeper? And I have a specific question to that. If you're willing to share more than deeper, I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So thank you. And the question is, when I see how important service is to you, and I think that's something that's common between all of us on this call. And I'm curious, how you define service. Like, obviously you're clear that living for yourself and living on the beach and that's cool, but there was more. So I'm curious if you'd be willing to share more about what it means to be in service to others as you see it.
That's a great question. I feel like for me personally, I don't know about others, what others would say, but for me personally, it's a felt sense of showing up and not needing to change anybody, but being just a presence of being there, and that presence of unconditional love. But in the past, like I said, in the past, the ego would show up and be like, I'm going to fix you. I'm going to change you. I'm going to, and I don't think that's actually in service of anybody. What I've seen is when you show up and are just that holding that space of love and compassion and non-judgment, that I feel like is the biggest of service, that you don't have to actually be doing anything per se, but just showing up in that energy.
I had this for you.
Now, do I pick up these
You
cards?
should
as
pick
you're
up that
talking?
card on your side. I'm discarding out of my hand on my side. So on your virtual magic,
You've gained them.
I've gained them.
You've acquired 2.
Okay, great. I picked
and you actually have acquired 3 because this card now becomes one of yours too. So if you go in the blue deck of curiosity cards and find would you be willing to share more and or deeper?
I have to find that particular one.
Yeah, look for that one. And there are 5 variations of the curiosity cards. So you
Oh,
won't
I
have to look very far.
Perfect.
Okay,
That's
so
nice.
that's now your card. And just to be clear, like once you have a card like that, you can hand it out at any time. So if Nick shares something during your turn, I'm like, hey, I have a question for him or gratitude to share. It's flexible like that.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yay.
Okay, Sam, to me or you?
I would say go to you, Nick.
Oh, okay. All right, which one?
Who do you want to pick your card, buddy?
Alyssa, which one? Give me a
Ooh.
percentage. 20% of the way, 30% of the way, 50% of the way.
Right there.
Tell me when to stop.
Oh, stop right there. Yeah, that one.
Ooh, that's the one.
I got this last time. Aliens have landed on Earth. How would you direct them to learn about us? And last time I had shared with Sam that I would just point them to Elon Musk and let him do, I would delegate that.
Did you roll the dice?
Oh, the dice.
Don't leave the aliens out of this dice experience.
I had a flashback. It's desire and then now. Desire now. So yeah, I had shared with Sam last time that I would delegate my authority to Elon because he's already prepped for aliens and he's much more prepared with that. But I think right now the desire that I have to share with the aliens and how I would tell them to learn about us is to such a good question. How do you learn about somebody? I think you learn about somebody by connecting with somebody, right? By like actually taking an interest. So I mean, I would urge the aliens to have a conversation and to not have any preconceived notions of humans, even if they think that, as human beings, like what are they doing if they're living in higher dimensions and planes and they're more in a more advanced state of consciousness. I would tell them to slow down and let them know that, hey, we're all doing our best here, and and speak to Elon because I don't really know.
Love it.
I've got a curiosity card for you, man. This one says, would you be willing to give or receive an outside perspective?
Yes, I think I need one, and I'd be willing to receive one.
Oh, you want to receive one? I was hoping you'd give one. Can you give one? Would you be willing to give one?
You're trying to expand my consciousness right now. Yeah. You want me to give another perspective on it?
I have a specific thing I want here to hear if you'd be willing to share. Cool.
Of course.
Okay. I love the idea of aliens learning from us by being with us. And I'm curious about this concept of like doing our best. Because sometimes I look and I was like, wow, is that really the best we can do as humanity? And sometimes I do something like, gosh, I don't really think I did my best there. And so like, how does that show up for you? Like, what advice do you give to like, when you've given your best or when you intend to give your best, what does that mean to you? How do you approach that?
I think what it means to me is learning how to evolve and utilizing the gifts that I was given in service of others and trying to make a change in a big way. And it really just looks kind of like playing my part. You know, sometimes playing my part can mean I'm doing the dishes. It could mean I'm traveling and I'm speaking at an event in the future. It could mean that I write a book sometimes a couple years down the road. I'm not sure. So I think we have the tendency to view things as either small or big when a lot of the times we don't really have the true perspective on those events. So things that seem bad later in hindsight are like blessings, right? And so we live in this world of duality and it causes us to divide things. And I think that everything is just completely interconnected and it's one, right? And so I'm not really sure to answer your question, but I think that it is important to, you know, the essence of life is growth. So I do think it's important to grow and to be evolving and to be trying to give that to other people as well. I think that's the ultimate goal, is to attain a point of mastery at something and then give it back to others. And I think the universe almost makes you have to do that naturally.
This is for you, buddy.
Oh, I got him back.
Boom.
Uh,
Right, and I love that, Nick, so much. Point
Thank
is
you.
growth. Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't make that up. It was Jim Rohn or something I was listening to, and he said the essence of life is growth. And you know, sometimes you'll hear things and they'll just like resonate with you. It's like that little gem. And I was like, that's a really good one there.
Yeah. And mastery, right? That's the point of, I think, this life for so many is mastering something, maybe their physical body, their mental or emotional body. So key. Awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love the playing
absolutely.
your part side to it too. You know, sometimes I feel like we have a limited amount of control most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's like within that little window, what, you know, within the window of control is giving our best, is like playing our part, and it feels like listening to whatever wants to come forth. Right. That's the only thing that you can do for you, and the only thing I can do for me, and the only thing that you can do. Like, I just feel like that's really profound. It sounds simple when you say just do your part, like play your role, whatever. But I really think that's a profound statement you made.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think it can seem insignificant. And I think it doesn't, at least to me, like it can seem so insignificant, and I'll get caught up in the trap of like what is the meaning in this? Like what is the purpose in this, right? And I have to remind myself like just to be present and the to not think so much about it, right? But to just trust and have faith.
I love it. Don't think so much. Amen to that.
Yeah, good luck.
I like it.
All right, Mr. Sam.
All right, I got some dice here. I'm gonna spin these dice and see. Like moving all over the place. All right, fear is what came up first, and this guy, fear and always. All right then. All right, Alyssa, I'm gonna have you pick for me, if you would, somewhere in this mix, from 0 to 64.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you go there, just right, yeah, right there, yeah, right there-ish. The one that just kind of flipped out, yeah, that one
This one?
there, or the
Okay.
one over is fine.
That one or the one over? Okay, I
Yeah,
see this one. Let's go
yeah,
with,
that one. Do that
okay.
one. That's the one I wanted.
All right, that's the one then. That's
Okay.
the one. This one says, if you could only improve one thing about yourself in your lifetime, what would it be? Oof, that's so deep. Only
Who
one.
wrote these questions?
Yeah, seriously. Who
Like you
wrote these
came up with
questions?
them.
Dang, it's funny because as much as like we've designed this game, and it's like there's still games that I'm waiting to play those cards because of the probability. The first thing that comes to mind, and it really is profound. I mean, I feel it deeply, is I sort of, the context for me of life is, this is not one go. It is about growth and it is about mastery. So I love what you said there. And as we move forward, so to speak, it's not really a time-based thing. I think of more like a tree, like the rings expand outward, my consciousness grows. That's part of the mastery. And all these different relationships, and everything's relationship, right? I'm in relationship with everything all the time. And so that's the context. And the content of that is my heart and my sort of desire to expand. Sometimes I really feel like, yeah, that sounds great. I want to meditate right now. And other times I'm like, screw that. I want to go play a video game, And so it's like, how do I mitigate the simple pleasures, or sort of that? I think of it as like inertia towards maybe an undisciplined, unplanned life that maybe doesn't take me in the direction. Like you go too far down that road and you're like, oh man, I knew that wasn't going to work, right? Whatever it might be, whatever chemicals we seek of that validation of good feeling, right? Versus a sustainable, like really ascending growth pattern of evolution. So the simple part of this is that I fear sometimes, or always, that I'm not as committed to that path as I'd like to be. I wish I would trust more in what I quote unquote know to be true. Like my mind, you mentioned ego, my mind gets in the way sometimes, like, oh no, you don't have to do that. Let me give you 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't be on this path of ascension. And then this heart, or this internal knowing, the soul says, So I read from the Bhagavad Gita now. That's what I'm doing every night, a verse. And it's just a reminder. It's not that different. It's just another reminder every day of that soul ascension process, and like commitment to staying out of the worldly material attachment and staying in the path of like deep knowing. So I fear so if I could improve one thing in my life, it would be to trust more in what I know to be true at that soul level, and let go of that mind and that ego.
Tim,
Yeah,
would you be willing to receive an outside perspective?
Yes.
What if in the morning when you first wake up, right? Because that's when we jump into the default mode and our brain starts going down the rabbit hole of monotonous thought. What if right in the morning you got in the habit of doing something that brought you into that space, and tapping into like the inner energy, and realizing that, because I can fall into this too, right? It seems almost like a separate exploratory path, but it's really primary and everything else is secondary. So what if you could have some sort of a routine, whether it be meditation or yoga or something that you do just to get into the body and out of the head? That way you realize that your state of well-being is the most primary thing in the world, and everything else branches and stems from that, and you're going to improve everything else as a result of that. And I just kind of pose the question to what that would look like for you, and if it would be something that you'd be willing to try for 7 days.
Well, first of all, and gratitude for you for that. Thank you. I used to have a really good practice of that, and I feel like that's fallen off a bit. So it's welcome. And actually, I don't want to do it for 7 days. I want to do it for longer. So that's a really good reminder. Honestly, a really good reminder. And I appreciate that. Yes, I'm willing to take that on, and I 100% agree with you. I think that mindset from the beginning, every day, no matter what, sets the rest of the course of everything. And if that's constant for me, I know that it improves. So redoubling that commitment to me starts right at the beginning. And I love that. Yes.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what action you might take, but I think you already said it. But just out of curiosity, since we're playing this game, is there an action like this? Is there a specific practice that you just love and makes you feel so delicious in the morning that gets you into the soul right away?
Thanks for that question. It's a great question. For a whole year, I did this wake up with the sun, go to bed a little earlier kind of thing, with cold showers and like the full commitment to like everything. And it was a great year. And I was at that time in a romantic partnership that wasn't a like serving relationship. Like she wasn't doing that too. So it was a very big mismatch. But it was such an enjoyable time to wake up with the sun. And I love cycling. I broke my leg in August last year, my femur. And so it's been a long time to recover. And I think part of this loss of practice is around that. Like, it used to be more physical. Like I'd wake up and I'd go do a 20-mile bike ride, right? So or yoga, yoga on the upper deck of this area that's like overlooks the city, beautiful. So I think connecting with nature in that physical way. So a combination of those two is really like getting out of this space into another one to connect with nature right at the beginning of the day is a combination of those two. That's nice. Yeah.
Oh, and so yummy when you're following the rhythms of nature. Oh, it was just delicious. I'm right there with you on that practice of having that. It makes such a huge difference, doesn't it?
It's so important. And like the moon too, like moon cycles are really powerful for me. Like a full moon, I don't sleep very much during full moon time. I can feel the energy. I'll be like, oh, is it? Yeah. And I look like, yeah, it's and the new moon, like really, as you're saying, connecting with those cycles that's part of what we can tune into. And sometimes like other parts of life will have us tuning out. So that's a beautiful reminder, because I feel really imbalanced when I'm in, sort of concert with it, in harmony with it.
Totally. I'm giving you massive gratitude for
Oh,
that
thank you.
inspiration for your best year, and to have another one and another one and another one and another one.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mm.
Well, the dice go back to you, Alysa.
Okay. I love
Virtually
these
passing
too.
those right through this app onto your side.
Gotta tell you, I really do like these dice. They're very nice. Okay, big money, big money, big money.
Big money, like Lady Luck. Come on, Lady Luck.
Oh, anger.
Ooh.
Oh, that's interesting. And never.
Never angry.
Okay, this one's sticking out. Oh, I'm gonna just take it. What's one of your pet peeves? Do I answer this always, or does somebody else? And I should have asked you guys which one you wanted. I'm so sorry. Can I? Should I?
It's totally up to you. It's totally okay.
Let's do it.
You
Let's
just
do
did
it.
however you want.
I'm gonna just grab. Grab. Because it's a little interesting when you don't have just like, I'll do this with clients when you don't have 5 cards. 5 cards, I want to say, is easier.
Oh, totally. You could just pick 5 cards, couldn't you?
Hang on now. Now, dang it. That makes more sense. I'm gonna just do that. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Who wants to go?
Sam, you go.
Sam, you
All
go.
right, I'm gonna go with that 3. For some reason, number 3 is really, that's the one.
I know, right? This one.
Yeah.
Can you see
It's like glowing.
Whee! It's Oh, I love this card. What is something you'd like others to ask you?
How perfect is that?
And anger never.
Okay, promise not to be angry when we.
Yeah, what would you love to be asked? Have others ask you?
Do you mean for us or for yourself?
Oh, am I supposed to ask this?
You're the you draw and you answer.
I was all excited to hear Sam's answer. Oh, funny. What is something I would like others to ask me? Pardon me while I think on this. Honestly, I have no idea. I guess I feel like I'm sort of curious about other folks. I don't really, you know what I mean? When I'm with people, I really am curious about them. I want to learn more about them. So I feel like a practice that I do is not talking about myself. I want to just listen and hear. And I also can understand that that might also occur to people as I'm not willing to share. So I guess a question that somebody could ask me that I would totally always be open to is there something on your mind that you'd like to talk about, or would you like to tell me about your day or something like that, or what, yeah, something about that, or you know what I really would want somebody to ask me, like if everybody asked me this question, I would be so excited. Like, what's cosmic and deep that you want to talk about today? That's a question I love. What's cosmic and deep? Anger, and then anger never, because I'm never going to be angry with that question.
Yeah. Well, can we ask that question of you now? Would you be willing to share something that's deep and cosmic that you that's on your mind?
Yeah, I feel like in Hawaii, there's so much potency and so much magic here. And we recently, I don't know if you folks all believe in aliens, but we recently have had these um, really interesting looking clouds. And if one were to believe in such a thing as an alien starship in the form of a cloud, you sure would think that that was it. And so I was at the natural food store that we have here. And there was a bunch of people talking about these cloud formations. And I, of course, had gotten some pictures at night because I love to starbathe and I love to go out at night. And I sort of think they're Pleiadian starships. But so anyways, we were talking about them and everyone's like, I wonder what it is. And I said, oh, I think it's a Pleiadian starship. What do you guys think? And they said, well, we don't know, but we think it's something alien. And everybody was talking about this lovely energy that we all felt. No one felt scared. No one felt crazy. But what's interesting about this, and I think this is the most curious thing, is like 2 weeks earlier, I had this dream of this incredible energy coming in and through the mountain, and half the people were looking at the energy and half the people weren't. They were distracted. And what the story that these folks told me, they make this silver product, and they were bringing the silver product to sell in the store. And they were telling me how in their side of the island, everybody was out looking at it and they were taking pictures and they were marveling and they were so thrilled with this really yummy energy that was present. And so I just thought that was really cool and kind of confirmation of what I saw in my dream, and how sometimes we think things are going to look a certain way too. Like, if I don't know if it was alien starships or not, but we've all had the program of the spaceships they're metal and they look this way and they have this pattern, and I wonder, I'm curious because I've never met an alien except in the fifth dimensional realms and above. I've never met one in the 3D physical. So I sort of wonder, if I were an alien, what would my starship look like? Would I disguise it as clouds? I mean, I'm pretty sure that they would have some kind of cool thing that we human beings haven't thought of yet. So anyways, that's my something cosmic and deep.
I love that. I often wonder, we've made aliens to look like us, like all of the different representations, like big eyes, pointy chin, bigger head, like smarter, but basically us, right? Arms, legs, all the same stuff. No genitalia, because that's weird. We couldn't possibly picture that. we have this sort of strange thing that we've created around this lore of aliens. And what I wonder is, like, and here's, it sounds like a tangent, but I promise you it's not. Like, do you have cats, dogs?
I used to have a dog, but not now.
Okay. Have you ever seen a cat just like stare at something in the distance, but like actively, like watching something? We can't see it, but the cat is like fixated on it. And so I often wonder, like, when you think about a bee or a cat or a dog or another animal that doesn't use English to speak to us, what it sees. And we know that there's all these different wavelengths of light. So even when you talk about seeing the clouds, we're only seeing certain things. So, like, to understand us and to want to be seen by us, what would that even look like? That's the beginning of communication for a very visual world. So I love what you're saying about clouds, and I love the softness of it. Also pondering just sort of the ethereal nature of a cloud and how it speaks to us and the land and its integration versus that foreign concept. And what a soft way, if you're an alien and you wanted to communicate in that way, what a soft way to make an introduction.
Right? Wouldn't that be amazing? And I love your concept of light, because we humans only see such a narrow bandwidth. Oh my gosh. And we think, the humans think, oh, I can't see it, so it's not there. And yes, oh God, I wish we could give everybody the glasses that helps them see more of the bandwidth, the cat glasses.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. That's part of the thing we can do, right? Help share that perspective in our own different way to give people the glasses to see who they are and to see what it is.
Right, the cat glasses. Get the gratitude for the cat glasses.
Okay, well, I'm going.
That's a trade-off.
Quick exchange there. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was great. I have no input because y'all covered everything. I'm just soaking it in, and incredible. Alrighty. Tell me when to stop.
Who are you asking?
Sam, you do it. I did it last time.
Oh,
Stop.
running out of cards, Sam. Where might you be playing too small in your life? And where are my dice? Guilt. Always.
Ooh.
Man. God. Yeah, that's such a good question. Incredible question. And everywhere. And like I think for me, like my conditioning is like interesting in this because like I'm so like such a big thinker and like so visionary in a lot of ways. But a lot of people, I used to express my ideas so freely and tell people what I was going to do and like own businesses and do all these things. And I would just be met with such disdain and that like, that like you can't do that mentality from elders and from people that and friends and just everybody, that it really got me to a place of feeling like just crazy, just like absolutely crazy. And I think we're all crazy on some level, right? But I think that when you have vision that is so big and you think so expansively and you want to do things that are so great, it is so against the status quo that you're met with a lot of resistance. If you think about somebody like Kanye West, whether you like him or not, if you think about what he has manifested and becoming one of like the biggest artists of all time and in 20 years and owning a fashion brand that is worldwide. And I was watching his documentary and he has that very visionary sort of mindset. And he would tell people like that he was gonna like win the Grammys. And they were just like, you're not even a rapper, you're just a producer. And then, later that year, he ended up doing it. And I think that really comes from a super, super deep level of self-belief and knowing your worth and having the ability to not buy into other people's advice. And I think that other people's advice, when unsolicited, is not in your best interest a lot of the times. And that's just kind of been my experience. And I heard Steve Harvey say that those visions that you have in your mind, God put those there for you, not for anybody else. And so it's nobody else's place to tell you what you can't do. And I think that is the way to think about it and to approach it and something I've been dwelling on recently, and so I think I'm playing too small everywhere and I'm super open to trying to remember to I'm not going to. I'm going to play bigger in my life. I'm going to affirm it now. So that was a tough card.
Can I change a question slightly?
Yes.
Can I modify?
Yes. You can modify.
Because I have only 2 curiosity cards. I maybe need to pull some more, but I'm curious if you were going to give yourself some advice to beyond, I'm going to play bigger. What advice would you give yourself when somebody says, because inevitably somebody will say, oh, you can't do that. What advice would you give yourself to override that or get past that quickly?
I think I would tell myself to stand in it and completely own that which is true, right? And not backing down, but not in like a confrontational or conflicting way, but to really like reaffirm it, like to have the ability to look somebody in the eyes and tell them like, because you could imagine like if Sam, like when before all of this existed, like looking somebody in the eyes and telling them he's going to create a game that has the potential to change humanity. And, we're so programmed to think small. I think that you have to get to that space where you can like look in the mirror and look other people in the eye and just meet it with absolute certainty.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to just share this. I had a coach one time tell me when somebody tells you can't do it, you have a choice to prove them right or prove them wrong. And so giving yourself
Mm.
that, I'm gonna actually prove them wrong, that I can actually do this. It's such a decision, right? I love
Mhm.
what you said about standing in your power and your knowing and your heart, like the universe gave this to you to do. Love that,
Right.
Nick. Massive gratitude to you on that.
You as well. Thank you.
For
Can I
being a big
offer
thinker.
Yeah,
can I offer an outside perspective?
absolutely.
Okay, so I'm giving you this card, which I received and it made its way back into my hand. I This is going to sound a little bit counterintuitive because we, of course, designed these cards in the game, but I think it's cool to talk about small and big. And I don't know if we talked about the Course in Miracles at some point, yes or no?
Maybe briefly, but not like in depth.
Okay, so A Course in Miracles starts with nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And so the central concept is that all that exists is love. We may have the sense of duality because of our resistance to it, but that's from free will, right? I have the choice to see it as fear or hate, but it says love has no opposite. So when people say it's either fear or the opposite of fear is love, it's like, no, love has no opposite. There is only love. And so in that same vein of thinking in A Course in Miracles, that says there's no difference between what we would call a small miracle and a big miracle. Miracles are all the same. It's something we thought wasn't possible, but is possible all the same. And in a way, that is love, right? We're constantly like proving to ourselves like love is on tap and it's always there. And it's like, nah, but I'm feeling sad today. It's like, okay, you could feel sad, of course, but love is always there. So when I hear you talk about small and like playing small in life, the question, of course, in this game is a little leading, but at the same time, I think that there is no scale to the way you show up. And if there's a party that's like, wow, I could play in a different way. I mean, one side you could say, who is a greater person on the planet? Was it Mother Teresa or Bill Gates? Bill Gates gave millions of dollars, maybe saved hundreds of thousands of lives through, ending malaria, for example. But Mother Teresa gave hundreds of thousands of hugs, and then some of those people still died. So you can say, by what method do you measure? And she said, to finish what I wanted to share with you is like, we can do no great things, only small things with great love. And I feel like you said that before in what you were sharing, and I want to just reflect that back to you because I see who you are and how you show up consistently from that place of great love and wanting to do great things. And whether the outcome of that is big or small is just our measure. We're like, well, that's the measuring stick. It was this. We give it a number. But I just want to reflect to you. I think there's no limit to the capacity of what you can accomplish from the power of your heart.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I needed to hear that.
Aw. Do you guys
Gratitude.
work together every day?
What's that?
We work together every day, but we work together. Yes.
Yeah, we do work together. Not every day, but we definitely do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you,
I love
Sam.
that perspective. So
Yeah,
how you
me too.
show-
That was good.
Cheers.
Okay, here you go. Ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna break my
Got
laptop
it.
screen.
Wow, that was pretty hard.
That was fun.
Pass the dice. One more reason to get the game so I can float through your screen, but if you're careful, you'll get hit in the head.
Carefully flew.
Carefully. All right, I'll carefully roll it this time. Okay. We've got desire and sometime.
Huh.
And we've got a whole bunch of cards. All right, I'm going to try the Alysa approach here. I'm going to grab just from the middle a few cards. And then I'm going to have Nick choose 1 through 5.
2.
2.
Nick,
All
is that
right.
the 2 you wanted?
I'm
What's
sorry.
Is that the 2 you wanted?
That was the 2. That was the exact 2 that I wanted. Yeah, because it could have gone either way. Huh? Could have been left or right.
Okay, sometime and desire, and the song is name one song that you turn up when you hear it and why. The first song that comes to mind, actually, is so funny. Yesterday, I was thinking about the song, and I thought I want to play the song today, and I didn't get to playing it yesterday. But it's Carmen Fantasy. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's an opera, And it's the fantasy of Carmen. So there's one that's the opera of her singing, which is gorgeous. And then there's a classical version of that that's just the violins and the orchestra playing. And so when I was a kid, my mom started us out on violin and piano, my brother and I, when we were really young. So I was 4 years old, holding what initially was like this little Kleenex box and a ruler taped together, so you could just like get the posture of it without wrecking some instrument. And then later it was like, they call it the quarter size, and then you move up to the half size and the 3/4. And finally you work with like the full violin. Like you just incrementally get larger and the instrument kind of grows with you. And so I played until I was about 17 or so, played the violin. And a lot of it was a chore, but what I loved is that because my mom was like, oh, you have to play, and lessons were at 5 a.m. and it was freezing cold. And it was like, okay, it would have been a little better if it wasn't at 5 a.m. Maybe we would love the instrument more. But what it developed for me was a real appreciation for music. I've always loved music in lots of different forms, but classical for some reason has always been something that really calls to my heart. You talked about stargazing, and so one of my favorite experiences is just getting like a nice set of Bose headphones and listening to classical music under the stars. It's just, there's something so special about that. And more recently, not listening to the music, but feeling that music from the stars, like being in nature and just letting that be the orchestra. So for me now, this question, the song You Turn Up and Hear It and Why, is like listening deeper for the music that's playing. It's there. The music is there, and it comes in lots of different forms. And so for desire, and sometime I desire for others to turn down the noise around them. I have a friend that likes to ski with music, and it drives me mad. I'm like, why are we here sitting on a lift together, and you can't hear me? We can't have a conversation because you're listening to music. Like we're in nature. We're like, anyway, it's just, it boggles my mind. And as a gift, I thought, oh, he loves music. I'll give him a backpack that plays music. And I thought, no, then I'm gonna have to hear that music all the time. I don't want that. So I never got him the music, but I know that music is so powerful for the soul, and I feel like it's that song that brings us back to who we are. So that's what I desire. I desire not just sometimes, but I would love for people to hear that deeper music of their soul, what brings them happiness, and let go of the noise.
Yes, amen to that.
Can I get a witness?
Can I get a witness? Oh my gosh, I love it.
Love
Absolutely.
it too.
Can you imagine if everybody did that, took some moments to hear their soul in the universe and stopped the noise?
Yeah, it might change everything.
Well, can I ask the advice card?
Yes.
If you were to give somebody else advice on how they could be okay with not hearing the constant inputs, what would you tell them how they can stop and just be okay with silence?
That's a great question. I think you've got to have a reason why first. It's a profound experience. I mean, experience and experiment. I was silent for a week at Burning Man, so one of the most chaotic and frenetic places I can think of to go and be silent. And for me, it was a desire to connect deeper with others. I had this feeling like maybe I talked too much. Maybe I wasn't as interested as I could have been. How could I be more interested in someone else? How could I really go deeper? And so it depends on what your reason is. If you have a reason to want to be silent and listen, then do it. I think we can do that at a very incremental basis. Like what I did was a whole week all at once, and people are like, yeah, that's crazy. Just no. But people can go into an environment that's like the woods with other people, and for a week you experience that in Vipassana. There are ways to do that for a 5-minute moment, So whatever that moment looks like for each person, I think it's decide that first. Figure out what is it that's driving you to want to be silent and to tune in, because I think that's what we're really doing. We're tuning in. First, it may just be as silent as easy. And I think this is a really simple piece of advice to say, if you want to tune in, find a quiet space, close your eyes, and decide how long. Maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's a minute, but just get quiet and listen for your own heartbeat. just tune into yourself for a moment. Let all those things go, and then realize that that's the engine that's powering your physical body. It's one of the engines. So I think that's a really great place to start. And from there you can expand. So it's go inside first, go get internally quiet to get to know yourself and what's powering you. Like, get in touch with that life force, and then consider what else is being said. But don't listen just for others. You know, it's not like some people get really social and they're like, oh, I'm going to learn a lot from other people. It's like, yes, because we're mirrors and reflections of each other in this big holographic experience. But first, it's like tune in here, find a practice. For me, it was 5 minutes of meditation. That was my first experience of silence, and it was terrible. So hard. It was so hard. And then it became easier. And then I stopped setting a timer.
Wow. I have a curious question. Did you wear a sign at Burning Man to say to people like, I'm not mute, I'm not being a jerk, I just am doing silent? Or did you how did you keep silent for that long?
I wore one big sign that says, I'm a jerk. I don't know.
Yeah, not listening.
I didn't want to be a spectacle, so I wasn't intending to wear a sign. But if someone noticed, and by the way, some people never noticed. I've got funny stories about that. I had one person, it was a group of 3, but at the end of our conversation, of which I did no speaking, he tapped me on the back. He's like, this is after 20 minutes. This is not short. It was just 20 minutes. And he said, oh man, it was so good to get to know you. I loved our conversation. I was silent the whole time. I was like, what conversation? Okay, cool. That's your conversation. Got it. And I was present. I was with him. And I don't know if he thought maybe I couldn't speak, but it never came up, and he never asked. But I had a card for those people that did ask. And the card says, since I learned to speak, I haven't stopped. So I'm choosing this week at Burning Man to be silent. And if there's something you wish to share, I promise I won't interrupt.
That's so
And
cool.
that was the most beautiful invitation. I mean, the things that people shared was mind-blowing. And I think partly because interruption is nearly a sport. People would say, like, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm like, yes, you do. You just interrupted. It was premeditated interruption. So I had a sign, and those were some really, because there's that curiosity, right? That's what was driving the interactions for me and for the person connecting. And that's one of my highest values, is I love learning, and I love, exploring.
Wow, that's so cool. I was wondering how you got around that. So yes, I love the card idea.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny when they say, I just loved getting to know you, man, and there's been no audibles from you. Totally can relate to that.
You're totally right. And
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of people are just talking at each other, not with each other. A lot of the times it's like people are hearing each other, but they're not listening to anything because both people are waiting to get in what they have to say. And so they are not actually, they're thinking about their response, right? And that's what we do. We listen to people, and then we think about our response, and then we say something. But just listening will show you that the response will come naturally. You don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to think about what you want to say.
I think you're right. And there's, it's funny when using words like just, right? I'm just trying to, which is a terrible sentence, because you minify what you're not going to do, because you double negating what you're about to say. And yet what you just said is so common, so incredibly powerful, just listening. And just listening is really powerful. I didn't recognize that at all before. And I think what you said is really profound. Just listening it should be like, listening is great, right? Just listening sounds like it's minifying it, but it's like, there's justice to listening. There's justice to being heard. And there's so many people, I feel, especially now, have not felt heard.
Totally.
All right.
Gosh, totally. Oh.
Yeah. Listening is a gift.
Well, how about this? We're through the second round. What I'd like to invite is we play a final round, and it's played a little bit differently.
Okay.
So back to the challenge of learning these instructions. This last round is played, if you pull the, take a look for those 4 cards we had before that had a reference card in it. Take a look, see if you can find that one.
This one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So each one of these cards has a character at the bottom. So if you look at the cards you pulled already, like one of mine was Curiositor and the other one was a very apropos listener. This little guide card here tells you about each one of the 8 characters. So now what we're going to do is consider not the top and the question on the story card, but the bottom where it has the card character. And by the way, on the back of these cards, you can scan. So like if I scan the back of listener,
Okay.
this will tell me more about that character.
Hmm.
And I highly encourage you to scan it because the person who does this voice for us is ethereal. She is absolutely extraordinary. Her name is Radhika Vakaria, and she does mantras and Sanskrit chants. She's just incredible. So if you have a chance, please scan that so you can appreciate it. Anyway, so as you consider how you played the game today and how other people showed up in this experience of the Graticube game, look at what character you think they represented. Okay. And what you'll do is you're going to take a card for yourself of how you think you showed up, and you're going to take a card for each person, and then we're going to do a reveal. Okay. So just for now, take a moment and look through, and you can just, I just turn these so you can see the face up of these,
Okay.
and then just pick 3 cards, one for you, one for each of us, and we're going to do the same for you.
Okay.
And then we'll go in the same order as the game, and then you'll share why you gave yourself the card. And then if you're interested in hearing why other people gave you cards they did, this is called the gift card round.
Okay. Well, this is gonna be tough.
Especially self-assigning, giving yourself a card.
No.
That's always the hard part for me.
Okay. No. Oh, I see some. Do we have to assign ourselves one?
That's how I feel
I'm
about
not
it
even
too.
going to answer that.
You have to own it. You have to own what you think
To
about,
own it?
what
Own
you
it?
know about, what you know about yourself.
Okay, got it.
Let's
I think I got it. Okay. This is harder than you think.
It is, right?
Hard to pick one, too,
I was
right?
gonna ask, can we give 2?
Okay, I will allow it. We'll pick 2 because I wanted to ask. I have 2 for you, so I had to whittle down, but now I can put in a whittle more.
Okay, great. Now I just messed myself up. Okay. Okay. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, how are y'all doing?
Okay, I think I have it whittled down to 3 for each.
It took me like 3 minutes, and I'm not
Gotta
going
whittle
back
down
on
to
it.
8 per person. It's fine. It's all good.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Isn't that the truth? It's like if you give people like 2 or 3 options, they're like that one. You're like, here's 8 different choices. Now, what do you want? And you're like,
Exactly.
nothing, or everything.
I want it all, but all of it.
They say that it's like the Cheesecake Factory menu, right? Trying to choose the right
Yeah.
off of like 150 pages of like I don't know. Oh.
Yeah. It's like pick a number between 1
Everything
and
in this
150.
general area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring me pages 20 through 23. Just
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. All right.
Okay, so Alyssa, the Graticube roller from the very beginning, getting gratitude. What did you choose to give to yourself?
Oh no!
You're first with yourself too.
Really?
So if you're bad luck, but you're first.
Okay, I gave myself the listener card
Mm.
because I like to listen with open heart and mind. So I gave myself that. And the appreciator card. Appreciate not it.
Mhm.
So that's what I gave myself.
Beautiful. Nick, what did you give to the fabulous Alyssa?
I gave her the listener as well, and
Aww.
the purveyor of love. I do know that you can listen very well because I've experienced and seen it, and it is a very rare gift. And you listen with the open heart and mind, and you also kind of just emanate the vibration of love even through the computer screen from Texas to Hawaii. So
Aw.
yeah, it's really delightful.
Oh, I'm receiving that. I'm soaking that in.
You're
Thank you, Nick. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
welcome. Yeah.
All right, so tailing right on the edge of that, you also get a purveyor of love from me.
Aw.
I just really feel that fully from you. The way you show up, the way you listen, just your radiance, the way you smile and reflect on this. And I also hear you, from the beginning, how to be in service to others, how to sort of stop solely chasing self benefit, right? And becoming aware, but really choosing to share your love, that inner love. It's like a stage. You get to a certain place, you're like, wow, I have so much to share. And I feel that from you, like you're using your gifts to benefit others. And I think that's coming from a place of deep love.
Thank you guys. Oh, I'm soaking that in. It's one of my big things. I love love.
Love, love. All right, well, here's another one. Here's your second card. You ready for your second card?
Yes.
Curiositor.
Oh, I missed those yellow ones.
Yeah, the Curiositor. So, it's like, this is the explore the what if moment, let it flow. From the very beginning, you said yes, right? Here's a new game. We contact you. You don't know who we are, but you're curious. And I just really, I appreciate your trust in what is, and a trust in us to be here in this space together and to remain curious. That question, what do you want other people to ask you? And it was like, is it you? Is it them? It's like, you're willing to dive. You're willing to deep dive. And I feel like, you asked me questions that really felt like you were listening deeply. I wanted to give you listener too. That would have been the third, by the way. If I'd given you, but to listen first, I think you do need to be curious. And I think you start there in that curiosity in a really beautiful way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I totally missed out. These were just sitting over here. So now I have a whole new world of options for you guys. I might need a moment to reconsider, but thank you so much for that. I love that. I'm soaking that in. I love being curious. I'm pretending like I don't know, that beginner's mind always. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Reflections, guys.
Get on to me.
All right, on to you, Nick.
Okay, so how do I start with myself?
You have to.
What's that? Yeah, yes, that's
I
true.
have to. You for sure have to.
We're practicing, and I self-aware. I think
Self-aware.
that I think I had a empowering aha moment with the card that I was asked about playing too small, too big, and then what you had shared in response with me, Sam, and it's just been on my mind the past 2, 3, 4 days, and so the timing of it felt really reaffirming to me. So I gave myself the self-aware card for that reason. I'm sorry.
What was your second one?
Yeah, what was your
For
second
myself?
card?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have two for me, just one.
Okay.
I abided by the rules.
You modified the rules. Alyssa went through it down. She's like, here are the new rules.
I think it says there are no rules. Yeah, it does say no rules.
Right there.
Yeah.
No
Love
rules.
it.
I keep going, right?
You can pick one more card for yourself if you want there.
Oh, it's y'all's turn to tell.
Reflections,
Yeah,
right?
we
That's
can
right, that's right,
reflect back
okay.
to you. You can stay with your one. That's fine. We can go on. So Alyssa, if you want to share, that's cool.
Yeah, okay, I will share. I'm all mixed up because I've got my cards everywhere. I just want to say I've got my cards everywhere. You got first and foremost appreciato because I felt like had I known about these self-aware cards, you would have also gotten this one as well, but I didn't know about that 5 minutes ago. But you got the appreciato card because I felt like not only were you speaking from a place of deep appreciation about yourself, but I love how you connected straight away with the game and you just started appreciating things about people and the gratitude that you have radiating from you. You know, the energies that we radiate, it feels like so much gratitude just oozes off of you in such a wonderful way. So you got this one. And then I also gave you the listener card because I felt like you were a great listener and listening with that open heart and mind, but also from a place of like also just from a place of just wanting to receive what the person was saying without any motive or object, kind of to your point about not from a place of responding, but just from a place of deep listening. So you got these two.
Thank you so much, Alyssa.
Well, I see your appreciato and I match your appreciato. I think you're spot on, Alyssa. I heard that from the very beginning, and it's certainly a theme, Nick. I think in our interactions, but certainly in this game as well. Just seeing how you constantly show up, and I think to be in that state of appreciato, Deepak Chopra calls it the highest. You know, gratitude is the highest vibration. And to be in that constantly, you know, there are a lot of places where we could spend our time and attention, and to be in this moment, to appreciate this moment for what it is who you are. To me, I see that in you really on a regular basis. That's how you show up. And the other one I gave you here is inspirator. I do think you're very self-aware, so that would have been my third for you. Self-aware. I think you show up in that way, but I feel inspired by you for a number of reasons. And one of them is just knowing who you are a little bit outside the game is like, we all could go and make more money somewhere else, so to speak, right? That's a term people use. And it's also, you know, where you put your time and attention matters. And it's not always going to make a lot of money or a lot of sense right to begin with. But I feel like your direction of wanting to be in service is so clear and so solid, and you bringing value to the world versus someone who could make money and not add a lot of value. Right. And so there's always that persistent question of survival and am I thriving? Is that financial remuneration there? And I feel really inspired by your level of curiosity. You're wanting, your desire to give back or give to. You know, some people are like, well, let me make a bunch of money so I can give back. But it's like we can give along the way, and I see you doing that. So I find that very inspirational. And thank you for the great questions you asked me. That also takes courage to push up against somebody and be like, hey, can I give you some advice? Like, I really appreciate it, and I'm open to it. And I know you know that. And I'm happy that you're willing to share that with me.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, is it you now, Sam? Are we down to you?
I think it's me.
Sam to Sam.
Sam's up. Okay, so I found two for myself based on the new rules. One is appreciato. I really that for me is definitely the glue in my life. Like that's what holds everything together in a really beautiful way, is appreciation for just being alive. I woke up, I made it again, right? So I feel very thankful to even be able to connect here. Like I had a vision for having deep conversations with people and having a container like Graticube. And I'm just really appreciative of Alyssa, you being here, Nick, you being here. I feel the love and support and bringing this to more people and sharing the love. So for me, there's great appreciation in this moment, and also curiositor. I love learning about you, Alyssa. I love diving into like what when you first play the game, when you first interact, like what your first impressions are. That means a lot to me, to see that rawness of you showing up in that way. And I'm just so curious to know more about you based on what you shared. And like, I love that you shared about aliens and the clouds. Like, I'm so curious. I remain curious about that. I think that's so cool. I want to, continue to find a way to support whatever you're doing, just because I can feel the power of your heart. So I'm curious to know what that looks like. And curious just for how we keep, keep this energy and this power, Nick, alive as we move forward in the space that just feels so good. It feels so good to be here. So I'm feeling a lot of curiosity for how do we keep that moving forward in a beautiful way.
Confirmation, they're screaming for you outside. I don't know if you
like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Is it who's going? Sam, are you going?
I think it's you, Alyssa.
Is
Yeah,
it
you're
Your
up
turn
with this.
for
me?
Sam, right? Yeah.
Okay. I feel like you definitely, I want to give you 4 cards. So
Half the
Rules
deck.
keep changing.
I'm terrible with rules too, because I just don't abide. I feel like I'm going to echo your curiositor, but I feel like the 3 cards that I actually did pull for you. Number 1, first and foremost, was this appreciado. I feel like there's such deep appreciation coming from you, and such it's an appreciation for life. It's an appreciation for other people. It's an appreciation for opportunities to get to pull this beautiful, amazing, unicorn magical game together in a really cool way that I feel like will transform people's lives, and even, if I can use the word, ascend what people do at party time versus playing Monopoly, playing a game like this, because it forms a deep connection. So I love that. I just appreciate your appreciation and how you like to go into the gratitude and appreciation of people enough to care enough to take the time, which I can only imagine, that went into creating this game. So you got that. I also gave you storyteller, because you're actually really beautiful at storytelling, and I could really see with a lot of color the way you would describe Burning Man and just some of the textures and the content of your stories. So I'm with you. I'd love to hear more of the stories, because it sounds like you've got a ton of really cool ones. Oh my gosh, I wish we had hours for this game, in fact. So you got this one, and then you also got Purveyor of Love, because I feel that very
Wow.
for your heart. It's such you have a very strong heart magnet, and you know that, but it feels like, I mean, even when I received this game in the mail, I could just feel like this love pouring out of it. I could feel your love and attention in this, but not only it pours through to the physical, but also in your essence, in how you show up and how you reflect, and just it's just a beautiful energy that you carry. So thank you for that. And yeah, thank you.
Wow, I really feel seen with what you said. Thank you. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
The Inspirator, man, you are an inspiration for sure, an inspiration in a way that really resonates with me, because it's just not something that I'm accustomed to seeing. So like meeting you, and then learning about your game, and then learning about what the game is, and hearing the things that you're doing, is something that I needed very much, and the world needs, I believe, at large. And it's just so inspirational to see your mission, your vision, how you try to like tap into the heart instead of the mind, and you aim, and you're just so people first, it seems like, right? You're like, oh yeah, ship them. Let's ship them a game. Like, I don't mind shipping out games for free. Like, I want people to have this game and to play this game and to experience this. And you put the mission first, and which we all try to do, but we can get clouded, and our intentions can get reversed quite easily in a world full of distractions. And so you keep me very grounded in the things that matter, and in realizing what is worth doing here on earth, right? In this lifetime. So you're a true inspiration.
Wow, man.
Mm.
That means a lot. It really does. Thank you.
That brings the tears.
And a tech genius too.
Well, between the three of us, we know everything there is to know about the tech
Cherry on
part.
top. I love it. Oh, you guys, this has been wonderful. Can we do a boomerang for the gram? Is it okay to start? First of all, I need to know more details about this. Can we? I have another meeting in just a little bit, but I'd love to know if you guys have time. Can you tell me about like your launch for this? What do you need? How can I support? How would ideally in your ideal world, what does someone like me do for someone like you? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that question. Thank you. I mean, first, just, thanks for being here. Thanks for playing, and thanks for playing full on. Just, I can feel your openness. And what I love about this concept, and so a person that's not here is Terry Torok. He's my business partner, and he's fantastic. Terry's amazing. I wish he could be here. We'd be here all day. We'd be here for the next 24 hours. For the four of us, there's no way we would ever hang out. It would just go through a whole day and we'd be here. Terry he's got a big heart, massive creativity. And right now he happens to be on another call with the Millikan Institute. I'm not sure if you're familiar. So we're doing some things with them. We played at the United Nations 2 weeks ago. We played the game with Deepak Chopra a little while ago, and then created 2 adaptations of Graticube for him. So based on his books, Total Meditation and Abundance. And so we can basically customize these cards for big influencers like Deepak Chopra, like Oprah, and I can give you a long list of people that we want to do that with. So that's part of what we want to do, is have different game varieties so that we reach an audience where they are.
Mm-hmm.
This game is about connecting in heart based on what you love. And so what you may love is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Maybe that's something, or Pink Floyd. So, that's one side. Another is bringing people together through play dates. And so we'll be in Hawaii in actually June for the Chopra, what is it called? It's the Desire to Something event. I should know this.
Is that just right down the street from me at the Fairmont?
I can tell you in a moment. You know what? I'm gonna look it up right now and I'll tell you, but it's
He
the,
usually comes to Fairmont. It's just a walk away from me.
oh, that would be amazing. Chopra, Hawaii retreat. And it's one of his last ones because they're starting to dial down. I don't know if you saw their partnership, the Healing Co. bought them. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, where does it say where we're going to be? Last chance. This is big seduction of spirits. There you go. Yeah, to do something desire related. Desire, seduction, it's all in the same space, isn't it? Let's see where it is. Restore, balance, palm trees, Fairmont. Yeah,
Fairmont. I know
Fairmont
it.
Orchid, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so there you go. It's down the street from you. We wanted to make it as convenient as possible for you. So we had Deepak plan to do this. So we'll be there at that event. It's sold out. It's 400 people already. And our goal is to have the Deepak version of this game in their hands so that we play at the event. And then also to set up events on before and after. So the goal is to really, we had one of our pre-launch events in Denver at Meow Wolf. Are you familiar with Meow Wolf?
Meow Wolf?
Yeah, Meow Wolf.
No,
Super
I'm not.
weird, right? I like how you said it. I hope we get the recording so I get Meow Wolf. Aroo. So Meow Wolf is a super creative kind of Burning Man-esque space. If
Okay.
Burning Man threw up and everything that hit the wall stayed there in a beautiful, colorful pattern with wild enchanting music in the background with 3 levels and caves and wild entrances here and there, that's what it would look like.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, if you
playing the game, about 200 people, and that's so far as our record. So I'd like to break the record at obviously 400 would be more, but I want to continue to expose people to the beauty of humanity through play. And that's one way. So I think however we can do it, we have an affiliate program. So you could sign up to be an affiliate. You'd get 20% on all sales. The standard commission is 10%. So as soon as you sign up, I would just double it to 20%. And then you can give out an 8% coupon promo code to anyone who wants to buy from your link. So they get 8% off, you get 20% of the whole sale. It's a win-win-win, everyone wins. And that's another way. So, and then let's get creative, whatever we can do. I want this game to be a way, like we have the Graticube game. So this is in the box, right? The Graticube experience. And then there's the Gratisphere. And to me, it's an undefined space right now, but you are in the Gratisphere. Nick is in the Gratisphere. We are now in the Gratisphere. And imagine being able to connect with people through that common through thread of gratitude, another thread of curiosity, another thread of vulnerability, another thread of trust and respect and love. And so you imagine that that's a pretty cool fabric, that the whole world can be connected in that. So when you travel, when you go anywhere, if you want to raise your hand to play a game virtually, you can go into the Gratisphere. So the greater vision is that we have so many people playing this that you can just find another person to drop in, connect out, get out of this head space, get into the heart space, and really play at a deep level. So those are some of the things we see and what we want to accomplish, so to speak,
And you mentioned, you mentioned you have an academy coming up, right, too, Alyssa?
Yeah, so I have two things coming right up. So I have a Healers Academy that I do, and then I also have a retreat that I'm doing here in Hawaii for retreat hosts.
Oh, wow.
So it's not
Amazing.
for people, but it's for retreat hosts. So I was thinking I'd actually love to schedule a play date with them and talk about this and have them, because they'll spread the message faster. My people tend to be more like light leaders, if you want to put a label on stuff. So that would be cool. And then something else I was thinking, for my academy, I was thinking this would be a fun, because I'm going to send out a gift box. I was thinking I would purchase some of these and gift them to the people. But then also for the Hawaii thing, since I'm literally right down the street, if you guys need a volunteer, somebody who will just show up and donate their time and do whatever the heck it takes for you, just let me know.
I love that. Okay.
I mean,
No,
I can carry boxes with the best of them if that's what the duty is. I'm not opposed to grunt work. So literally I'm just a walk away, but I have a car too. So if you need anything, you just please do let me know.
That's really fantastic. Okay, well let's consider how we could pull that together, and then we'll come up with a price that's better than the price you would get. So you just buy a bulk of Graticube boxes for your event. We can support you in whatever way to facilitate that. I mean, to me, one of the things I love about the game is the light facilitation, right? I fade myself as much as possible because the game dynamics are roll, draw. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. And clearly you were deep in the space. So I have no concern at all that you're going to just play the game and make it easy for however many people want to play. But if there's ever a question about, hey, how do you handle this question? Or how do you do this thing in the game? Would love to support that as you do this play date with your friends and these, that's cool. Retreat, coordinators. That's really a great space.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that would be fun for them to have something like this in their hands that they could just, go and do. And because at a retreat, you're always trying to connect and figure out fun, interactive, experiential learning games. My training is corporate background, so that's where I come from. Corporate trainer. So I think oh my gosh, also I feel like this would be so amazing to get in the hands of corporate trainers.
100%. And actually, so as much as this box is, it's $48 on Amazon, but as far as its value to companies, way beyond that. And I see that as an in-person, we show up and yes, they could just buy the game and do it. I'd love for that to happen. And that's part of the vision of the leverage of it, once it becomes more known. But to be able to meet companies where they are, go be with their people, be in that space together. I'd love to explore what that looks like. We recently had my business partner, Terry, was playing with a group of 12 and they played for 2.5 hours. That's a lot of time and commitment for a company to say, we're going to take everybody's hourly in 2.5 hours. That ends up being a few $1,000, but more than worth it. And they wanted to do it again and again. So I'd love to explore how we might look to do that. Even just saying, hey, you have a corporate client you have in mind, we'll show up with you. Let's go do that. And then the commission is from the event and the hourly and the day or whatever we decide to do, an on-site, play dates on-site with companies where we don't even need to be the entree. We can be the dessert or the appetizer to their event. So absolutely love anything we can put around that, because I think that's going to be really remunerative for everybody involved, for ambassadors of gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yep.
clients that do that corporate, they do corporate employee days, they do corporate, it's mental health month coming in May.
Yeah.
And typically, they get paid about $4,500 for an hour just to show up. But like I could see you facilitating, like you, Sam and Terry and Nick facilitating team building days. And sometimes that's a $10,000 gig, just to show up and do an experiential learning team building facilitated activity can be
Yep.
really fun.
That's
Imagine,
exactly where, yeah, that's exactly what we have been really
Mhm.
shooting for and working towards, and kind of what our vision, part of our vision, not the whole thing, but we know that we have the ability to use this. The game is more just like a tool for evolution, right? And for insight and clarity and connection and the things, the byproduct of what happens when you play. So an interactive training, hands-on experience is definitely something we want to shoot for, and like putting it in workshops and retreats, or whether we fly out, we facilitate, and we just do team building exercises and help people form a bond that is going to make them better, a better team as a whole. We think that it does have a lot of use cases for that. So we'd be open to collaboration, right, Sam?
yeah, 100%. And I know you said you have to go and we have to go as well,
Can we take
but
a picture? Can we do a picture?
of course.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Somebody hold up cards. Okay, who's gonna hold yours looks
No, no,
cosmic.
I have a
Yours
light.
looks,
I have some light here.
yeah, let's get the light. Do I have a light I can shine on this? Hold on, I don't. Okay, so maybe who's gonna hold up cards? The pink ones, only the pink. Can I do them like this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got the vision for this, so we're just
I
following
do.
your
I'm gonna
direction
go
right
with
now.
the vision. Hold on, I'm gonna go with the vision. 1 second. Oh, my phone. I'm gonna do a little boomerang. Not that way though. Okay, hold on, okay. Okay, are you ready, guys? And do something that you move, like twist yeah.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, okay, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's very cute.
yeah.
Okay, maybe I got my cards in too much, but I still think that's cute. Nick, I kind of cut you off a little bit, but I think you'll be okay with it.
I'll be all right. I'll live.
Okay.
I'll live.
Okay, great. Yay. Okay, so I'll do a little posting about this Graticube.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you so much. And if you could send us just a video of your experience, what you learned, 30 seconds to a minute, we'd really appreciate that. We'll feature it on our Instagram, and then we'll just tag you in it. So
And if you'll
we just
send
want to.
us this recording as well,
Sure
Nick
will.
is great at post-production, and we could send you like an excerpt to say, hey, do you think this is cool to share? And again, I think the vision for us is that when we share in transparency of who we really are, in a space where it's okay to do that, it's okay, and great things can happen from that. So it's like letting people know that that's actually okay. You don't have to sit with the cocktail conversation. You can go deeper, and it's a safe place for a lot of learning.
Totally. You guys have anything we shared here, you have my full permission to share it out in whatever way that serves you. So,
You're amazing,
and I want to
Alyssa.
support, I love this idea so much. I'd love to see, really quick, I'll just tell you the story. So, a friend of mine always plays games with their kids. And I will sometimes go over for game night, and I'm always, this is a terrible judgment. I want to say this, okay? But I always end up feeling like, and they think this is the only way they can connect with their kids. And
Oh,
I end up feeling like there was no connection. We didn't connect. We just played a game. Like, I want to hear about how their day is. I want to hear about what's going on for them. I want to hear, but we just played who can win the most crap, or who can get the most cards or who can get the least cards game. And I don't feel like that's really connecting. So I love the idea of this because I do feel like we need more connection. So thank you.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's so interesting when people are like, what, this Graticube, it's not a game. You don't win. It's like, it's like, that's amazing. So, what does it mean to win? Like a game has to have a purpose, which is true, by the way. All these things, it actually does fit perfectly as a game. It's just that often so much of the game is like, I'm smarter than you.
Mhm.
right? Like I found a strategy and I could show how much smart. It's like, wow, that's just fear talking. There's so much fear in that. Look how much smarter I am than you. Now, fun, yes, we can compete against each other and become smarter in the process, and games have their purpose. Lots of games, not just this one. Go play Cards Against Humanity if you want. I've played it a couple times. That was it. I didn't feel like I was ever going to be a champion of Cards Against Humanity. What would that even look like? That'd be terrible. But just to think of like, when you say to somebody it's a win-win game, they go, yeah, all right, whatever, especially people that are used to a culture that's win-lose. And so win-win, this is a space for it, and it's a beautiful place to get to know each other. I'm amazed to hear somebody who's been married for 10 years play this game and go, I didn't know you played the trumpet when you were, like, the conversation never happened. It never came up.
Wow.
So it's curious. What you're saying is near and dear to, what I'd like to see more of is that deeper dive into who we are, what brings us together. And I think people are afraid, but it's also like, if you were dating somebody, wouldn't you want to know right away? And if you were in a deep relationship with them and you had the trust, you had the love, then why not hold the space for them? As opposed to thinking it's binary. If I find this thing out, I won't love him anymore. It's like, maybe I'll love you more. And I particularly think that's true. Like our vulnerability and trust is, open up to who you really are. That's who I love.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's an educational thing. I think people don't know how to ask. They have not been trained how to ask questions that are deep. They don't know how to get past, hey, what'd you think about that sports team, dude? Or, did you see the hockey game last night? Or what'd you think about that, whatever show? I haven't had a TV for years. I'm sorry, I don't know the things to even ask, right? But I think most people, I love this game because you're giving people a script almost to be able to start to have the conversation. So
Yeah.
I want to know really quick before we leave, how long did it take you to make this game?
It's been an evolution. We're at 2.5, almost, I guess, pretty soon. Yeah, we'll be close to 3 years of development. Part of it came out of 2020, but it was really visioned before that, before the pandemic. And it was originally had 3 dice, and I have like between Terry and I 1,000 different prompts, different questions. In each game there's 64. So we've tested it with different people around the world, different cultures, different languages. This game has been to Antarctica. And it's just continuing to evolve, really. I think the game dynamics, when I saw that we could get a repeatable result, whether Terry and I were involved or whether Nick was involved or we had somebody that knew the game, and you could just put the dice and the cards out and people would play, and you start out a little curious, a little like, I'm not sure what's going to happen, I'm worried, anxiety, and then you come back 10 minutes later and they're just smiling, they're laughing, like, oh my God, like that kind of stuff from across the room. You're like, oh, I want to play that game. That looks fun, So that was sort of when we knew we had it. And then it's just been iterations and working on it since to kind of fine tune a few things, like what happens when you click a QR code? Where does that go? How does that work? What is the Gratisphere? How do I connect with somebody if I really want in the Gratisphere? So we're still developing that.
Very cool. Wow, I'm impressed. Amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you. This is so good.
Definitely. It's great to meet you and get connected. So let's definitely stay in touch and
Yes,
explore future collaborations. So
okay, guys. All right. Well, send me your affiliate link stuff. Send me all the
if you
things.
go to, I'll send it right now. It's just graticube.games/affiliate.
Okay.
And it's graticube.games/affiliate. And then once you sign up, I'll see the notification and just give you that 20%. And then you can choose the code you give out as the coupon.
Oh, wonderful.
So you send the link and the coupon at the same time to your peeps, and then they get the deal. But let's talk about also, we'll just set up a time, and if you are okay sharing some of your contact information, like your phone number, let's set up another time to kind of plan your conference. And I want to be sure we do that in time, that we get those boxes to you in time.
Yeah, I know. It's a hustle. I'm in a hustle. I'm in a backlog of a hustle mode. Okay, I'm gonna pop my phone number for both of you guys here in the chat box. 928, my Kansas City phone number here.
Oh, Kansas
City.
Right.
Right.
Okay, great. Oh, you popped your link here. Great. Hold on, let me open it up because I did not type in the affiliate name correctly. I'm not known for my spelling. Thank you very much. Okay, great.
Spelling doesn't count. You're good.
Thank God. Okay, you guys, this has been so much fun. Such delicious way to spend the morning. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. And I'll text you so that you have my cell as well, and we will. Sam will do the same.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff that we could definitely do in the future, and
Yeah.
so we're very grateful that you support this.
Again, I want to see you guys both in Hawaii.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously,
sure.
let me know what I can do. I'm totally game for just
You're the
having
best.
fun
Thank you
and
so
helping out.
much, Alyssa. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
Alyssa. Nice to meet you.
Have a great day. Bye.
You too.
Thank
You
you.
too. Bye bye.